Here's my handy dandy slideshow. As I mentioned, I'm grad director. I've been grad director for 2 years, going into my third year. Next year will be my third year. I'm an associate professor in the English department, and then I'd like to have pictures on my slideshows because it makes it more interesting. And I love this painting in particular because it's a portrait of the artist who's an Indonesian painter with her younger self, just sort of connecting and guiding her. So I hope that this slideshow will give you some, uh, you know, guidance and can reassure some of your anxieties as you embark on your master's or your graduate education. Okay, so a little bit about me. I was born in Los Angeles. I was born on Gabrielino Tongva land. My pronouns are she, her, hers. My parents are in this photograph. They are Korean immigrants and they're now in their 80s and they now have white hair. They quit dyeing their hair over COVID. And then my kids in this picture, they are very cute and very little, but now my son is 11 years old and he's the one I'm going to pick up from the bus stop, and he gets mad when I'm late. And then my daughter is 14 years old. Their names are Bobby and Lucy. And yeah, so I studied Victorian literature and African American literature in graduate school. I did my graduate work at Harvard University, and then I taught at UNLV in Las Vegas for a few years before coming to Loyola Marymount. And I've been here since 2017. And yeah, I have a lot of pets. I have 2 dogs named Lucky and Moose, and I have 3 cats who may appear behind me at some point during this presentation. Okay, so I wanted to include this slide. We worked on a vision statement as a department a couple years ago, and I always like including this because it really gives you a sense of what distinguishes us as a program. We are a community of creative writers and literary journalists, and journalists and literary scholars who are committed to the fundamental dignity, equality, and welfare of all human beings. And this is a mission that is aligned with that of Loyola Marymount University. Our institution believes in educating the whole person and in supporting the marginalized and in being a beacon of social justice, and that animates our program as well. And you can see our full vision statement if you just check our departmental website. So why LMU? I really think what distinguishes the LMU Master's program is the fact that it is so small, that we have, class sizes that are no larger than 15, and in fact are quite often smaller than that. Sometimes there's seminars of 6 or 7 students. We have really receptive, accommodating, and dedicated professors. You can see some of the professors in this photograph, which I took last year in the spring. We had a cohort of about 13, 14 students who graduated. And as one of our celebrations at the end of the year, we went out to dinner. And some of these are recipients of capstone prizes for creative writing, for rhetoric and composition, and then for critical writing, along with some of our professors. So if you look at your screen, there are 3 professors. There's Dr. Hannah Sawyer, who is a creative writing professor. She's in a blue dress on one end. And then I'm in the middle wearing, what am I wearing? I mean, I'm embarrassed at what I'm wearing, but I'm in the middle. And then at the other end is Amy Ross Kilroy, who is longtime professor who did her master's work actually at Loyola Marymount, then went to USC for her PhD, and then came back and is also the TF supervisor. She's a really wonderful resource. And then the others are recent graduates. We provide conference and travel funding for each of our graduate students. So if there is a conference you'd like to attend, we can help with shaping up your proposal, and then you can get reimbursed depending on some students even go to international conferences, so you can get a little bit more money for international traveling. We also have teaching fellowships and graduate assistantships. So the teaching fellowships are competitive, but we usually have about 5 each year to distribute. It's a 2-year scaffolded program. So your first year of being a teaching fellow, you work as a writing instructor for a professor, and it ends up being a little bit of an apprenticeship model. And then your second year, you go out on your own and you teach your own class of rhetoric, rhetorical arts, but again, scaffolded with lots of support and with materials provided for you so that you're comfortable than leading your own classroom. And those teaching fellowships, as I mentioned, are competitive. And then there are also ample graduate assistantships. And these can be at the dean's office. There's one in the English department. There's one in the journalism department. And these are areas where you can work up to 20 hours a week to help defray the costs of your education, things like that. And then finally, I think what distinguishes us is, as I mentioned before, our sense of mission and our sense of community. Graduate education can often feel alienating. It can often feel intimidating. And we try very hard to be a supportive community. We're a small school with a Jesuit mission. And we really want it to feel like you can reach out to any of us and not feel like, oh, this is an incredibly hierarchical department and I can't speak up. Okay. And then I wanted to add some pictures of sorry, this slide is hard to look at, but I wanted to make it colorful. This was from graduate commencement just a few months ago. We had, as I mentioned, a cohort of about 13 who graduated. And these are pictures of two of the graduates. The first is Eric, and he was the winner of our creative writing capstone this past year. And he also worked full-time for the facilities management department at Loyola Marymount. And so when he graduated, some of his colleagues came out to root for him. So I took that picture of him, which makes me happy. And he recently got engaged, so he's getting married, not to a member of our the MA program, to somebody else, but he also did his undergrad at LMU, so he's a rock star. And then the other photo is of Leah, who is now teaching high school. She's teaching Asian American literature and also just I guess survey English literature courses at a local high school. And she's in that photograph with myself and then with Dr. Ryan, who is a former graduate director and works on 18th century literature. All right. And so this is just some additional places you might want to, check out, research. We have a social media account, both LMU English Graduate Program and then the LMU English Department. The grad program account is less frequently updated, but the regular English department account is frequently updated. So it's just fun to look at some of the things that we have been doing. And then there's obviously our website. And then the graduate admissions website. And I think this is being recorded, so you can go after it afterwards, or you can also take a photograph, whatever is easiest for you. And then this next slide has some other, oh, whoops. Did I lose oh yeah, helpful contacts. I'll go back. This is a list of helpful contacts for the English department. So if you would like to talk, just about even visiting the department and figuring out where it's located. Maria Jackson is our senior admin coordinator. She's been around forever. She knows the English department probably better than most of us teaching in the English department. Feel free to reach out to her. She's also obsessed with cats. So if you like cats, she's a great person to talk to. Trinity Catlin is my graduate assistant, and I love her. She's awesome. She's a first-year graduate student, MA, and she also did her undergrad at LMU. So I purposely chose her as the department master or the department graduate assistant because she already knows so much about how the university runs and how to answer student questions about registration and where do I go to for this piece of information. Or she's very welcoming and also available for student tours. So if you'd like to come visit the campus, if you're nearby, you can reach out to her and she can figure out a time to meet you and then take you around the campus. Amy Ross Kilroy, as I mentioned, is the TF coordinator, and I've included her information if you're interested in TF opportunities. KJ Peters is the chair of our department. He's also former graduate director, so well-versed in the program. And then there's me and my information. Please do not hesitate to reach out. And then because I put these slides out of order, I'm going to go back and add this final slide, which the graduate school wanted me to include because there are more resource sessions tonight, 6 to 6:30, a financial aid session, and then 6:30 to 7, a career and professional development session. And then I guess we have more tomorrow if you're an international student, 7:30 p.m. international admissions session. So I know that's just a very quick introduction to the English MA program, but if you'd like to talk to a current student or a recently graduated student, I can find somebody, who I'm sure would be happy to chat with you. And I'm sure you have your own, questions I haven't addressed. So send me an email, come to campus. I'd be delighted to meet you.